one more question on this topic of people, and I want to shift it to the place a little.
Mhm.
Few of the folks that are on this album, I imagine, are either from Durham, North Carolina, or have come through Durham. You met them through Durham, like whatever but Durham seems to be a focal point. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I've never been to North Carolina, obviously, but I'm always like curious, like, what is it about this place that seems to pump out so many just notable musicians in this genre? So a few of them we've Canopy has interviewed or covered. You already mentioned one of them, Sam Beam of Iron and Wine. And then, folks like Jen Wasner as well. YO, she's a part of Flock of Dimes, or she is Flock of Dimes. And of course, she contributes to Bon Iver. Avett Brothers, Carolina Chocolate Drops. It's a long list of people. Like, is there something about Durham, about its community of musicians or its music community that you think allows it to pump out career musicians and passionate musicians on a regular basis?
I think North Carolina in general has a deeply rich history of musicians. Some of those people that you mentioned aren't from Durham specifically, but why that is, like going back into the early 20th century, I think it has probably something to do with it being located strategically in the sort of upper South, and so not in the deep South, and it being the beneficiary of a lot of people coming through on their way south or on their way north and carrying with them their musical traditions. So, we have like a deeply rich history of bluegrass and country musicians from here, gospel musicians. John Coltrane is from here. Thelonious Monk is from here. Willie Weeks, the bass player, is from here. It's staggering. Link Ray, widely credited with inventing the distorted electric guitar, is from here. Blind Boy Fuller is from here. Reverend Gary Davis is from here. Like, these are people that invented ways that we think about playing the guitar. I think it was just a little bit of luck and a whole lot of different musical traditions smashing together and people exchanging ideas. And that's why I'm almost certain that, like, that's why we end up with a John Coltrane that ends up being so deeply invested in like his spiritual universe and ends up making like a completely unimpeachable masterpiece like A Love Supreme, because he had the church that is woven so deeply into black life in North Carolina. That was in him like from being a child. Thelonious Monk too. And then in terms of like Durham specifically, so this is like a late 20th century, early 21st century phenomenon. I think that again, on like sort of a micro scale, a lot of it has to do with the circulation of people that maybe aren't from here smashing together, right? Because we have so many universities in this small southern town. We have Duke University. I mean, within 20 miles of here, there's Duke University, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, North Carolina State in Raleigh. There's North Carolina Central, which is an HBCU in Durham, and then a million small private colleges, as well as the Research Triangle, which is like a crazy brain trust of sort of labor that's drawing people not only from other states, but from other countries. So culturally, this place is super rich and super progressive and multi-hued, and with that comes like all kinds of crazy, different, cool types of music, but also visual art, sculpture, food. Like, it's sort of like, it's really a hidden gem in, I don't know, certainly in the South. The South can be a hard place for people to wrap their minds around because of the history that we all understand about the southern part of the United States. And I think that Durham has done like a very beautiful job at pushing back on a lot of that.